Hey everybody, welcome back to the Blue Ribbon Lounge podcast.
Welcome back into the lounge, deep underground here in beautiful Moline, Illinois.
Don't give him my full address, Dave.
Oh, 123 Sesame Street.
I said don't!
Oh, I thought the big yellow bird gave it away.
That's okay, folks. Send me a letter.
Yeah, the letter E.
A little snail mail. Who did letters on? I can only think of the numbers they count on Sesame Street.
Yeah, everybody did letters. The count was the count.
He was just the number guy.
Yeah.
He was the numbers guy.
Yeah, because it always changed depending on which letter the episode was brought to you by.
Yes.
Yes. For a while, it was Cookie Monster.
Now he's like sometimes a treat monster. Sometimes Cookies Monster.
Yeah, he's a vegetable monster or whatever. But when my kid was little, he used to have a thing where they would put the letter of the day on a cookie, and he would explain it, but then he'd always get tempted and have to eat the cookie.
Yeah, a real addict.
Yeah, and so one day, it was funny, he was like, "Let me be honest with you. You know I'm going to eat cookie. So I'm going to draw a picture of the cookie." And so he draws a picture of the cookie so that he can eat the cookie with the letter on it. And then he was like, "See, letter E. But this picture, just drawing, looks so real. I'm just so hungry." And then he eats the picture that he drew.
Back when kid shows weren't just like flashing lights and bright colors.
Yeah. That's why I always like Sesame Street, because they like put a little like...
I always watched the Johnny Cash Sesame Street episodes.
Yeah.
Not the full episode, but...
the Johnny Cash parts.
Yeah, the music parts. They were really good.
Yeah. Well, they always had pretty good music.
Yeah.
And I think the newer stuff kind of lagged, but they would interdisperse it with like older cartoons and stuff that they did from the 70s and 80s.
I've always wondered why SNL never did that. Like, bring back Ambiguously Gay Duo.
Yeah, or like throw some old skits in there.
Yeah.
Like, what's that one guy? Jack Candy?
Was he like...
the inspirational quotes guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were like very...
Or the... you know what? I'm starting to get Mad TV mixed into it when they had Lowered Expectations,
yeah,
which was the same thing, and then they also had the dating videos.
Okay,
you remember those?
Maybe that was Mad TV.
That one was Mad TV, I believe.
Okay.
When it'd be like some super ugly guy, and he'd or like, you know, they made him look like really sleazy.
Yeah,
and he'd be like, if you're not, you know, 5'7" with double D's, then don't bother to call me. And I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it justice for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we got a great episode here for you folks today.
We sure do.
All the way back from 1958, Bluff Creek, California, when the bulldozer operator discovered 16-inch human-like footprints near his operating equipment. When he did the interview with the Humboldt Times and coined the phrase Bigfoot.
Ooh. Yes, that was only like, what, 80 years ago?
Only 80 years ago.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess stories go back beyond that, but when...
Oh, so far beyond.
Yeah.
Native times.
Native times, yes. Sasquatch. That's why we get the word Sasquatch.
Yes.
And they had like a bunch of different names for it also.
Yeah, like a lot of different names. But there were so many different tribes, you know, and the same thing with, you know, well, in Australia, they got one.
Yeah.
I have them written down, but I don't know if I can find them. And then in the Himalayas, they have one, the Yeti.
The Yeti.
And a couple more.
Yeah, well, I think they're kind of all over.
Yeah. Oh, the Yeti from the Himalayas, the Yowie from Australia.
Yowie.
And in Mongolian, they had the Yaren.
Okay.
But even then, they have, you know, in Florida, I think they have the skunk ape.
Yes.
And they have maybe some other ones. Bigfoot, Sasquatch. We said those already.
Yeah.
Oops. But we thought we'd go at it at a different angle.
Yeah, because I think our third episode was Sasquatch.
Yeah, is that on maybe Spotify?
It's
Certainly not YouTube.
That's not on YouTube, but I think it's on Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah, I have Vintage Torque Fest to go to this weekend.
Yeah.
I should have plugged it a little earlier, but shout out to Leadfoot Lunatics. Hopefully, I'll see them there. They're sometimes listeners, I believe.
I think we did talk about it a little bit. Maybe not last episode, but maybe the episode before that.
Yeah.
The Colonel Bird.
Yeah, so I was almost tempted. Well, we had kind of a scheduling conflict for our normal recording, and I was almost just going to be like, well, I'll just put out the first episode again.
Oh, yeah.
Next recording will be, not next week, but next recording will be 3 years
Yes.
of underground bliss.
Yeah. Down here in the lounge. Keeping it real. Coming to you from the bunker.
Keeping it as real as Sasquatch, baby.
Yes.
For 3 full years.
Yeah.
4 more years. 4 more years.
At least, yeah.
Minimum. Maximum.
Well,
We'll see how we feel in 4 long years.
Well, I mean, we made it 3 years.
It did go by quick, Dave.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe this is the year we'll take off, and in 4 years we'll be like in an actual studio somewhere in like Austin, Texas.
Yeah, maybe, Dave.
Some tax shelter state, you know. Like they're not taking our money. We got all this.
I'm gonna need to be a little bit more Republican for that. So
yeah. We have all this Podbean money.
Yeah. We got like almost 10,000 downloads, I think.
Yeah.
From you fantastic people listening.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You're half the show.
Yes, you are the half. You're the listeners and we're the talkers.
Yes, that's 50-50, baby. We're in this together.
I'm sure some of you talk back to the radio or your phone.
Matt, you fucking idiot.
Dave,
that's
shut
wrong. But that's all right. We appreciate our relationship.
Yeah, we like you
however
guys.
much you want to involve yourself.
Yeah.
But also, you could send us a couple of topics. We're running short, please.
Yeah, and we'll just throw them on the list, and when we roll up the dice, we'll be like, "What the hell is this one about?"
Yeah, we just got the topic Amelia Earhart from Seabiscuit, Scotty Boy,
Okay.
from your workplace, my former employer.
Your former employer.
So I'm looking for it. That's on the list now. Hopefully, we'll get to it. Probably get to it before the end of the year.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe next year we can start cherry picking.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, we'll see.
So the ones that are on the list now are just so old. I'm like, what was I even thinking putting this down? There's one on there that I'm like, I don't even know what this means. It's just like a bunch of letters and numbers. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's okay though.
Yeah, we enjoy it.
Yeah. I did find some pretty interesting stuff. There's for sure a road trip in here in one of my stories.
It's a road trip?
Yeah. It's called the Montana Vortex. It's just outside of Glacier National Park.
Oh, yeah.
I believe friggin' Ortega had gone there. Or maybe he went to just Yosemite. Maybe both. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. But anyways, just outside of Glacier National Park, it was once believed to be lived on by the native tribes as a place of healing. It's now called the House of Mystery.
Oh, yeah. It's like the center of this, like, what'd you call it? Vortex? Okay. Well, I'm always thinking triangle.
A lot of them are.
Yeah. So like the
and this
Montana triangle.
Yeah, this vortex, it's not like a giant everlasting tornado or something like that. It's an energy vortex. Shout out to our ley lines episode. This episode actually was like really connecting some dots for me, Dave. I might be getting a little deep.
Oh yeah.
but shout out to our ley line episode. I thought that one was pretty good. But in 1970, Joe Hauser bought the property and has found many supernatural effects that happen regularly. Some of the things are unexplained photograph effects slash like errors.
Yeah, I've seen that where it'll be like a picture of two people staring at each other, but they're like mid sections are like off.
Yeah,
their legs like
they're both there. Their legs and their bodies are there, but they're like separated.
Yeah.
Like if you were to just take the picture and just like shift it from side to side.
Yeah.
And then cloaking.
Okay.
Which is my favorite term for this is the predator effect.
Okay.
From the movies. It's where, you take a picture of something and you can tell that if you take a picture of a tree, and the midsection of the tree is kind of like you can almost see through it.
Yeah.
But it's still like kind of, you can tell something's there.
Yeah, kind of like
predator
heat waves.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
I wonder if you could take pictures of heat waves. I wonder if a camera would catch that.
I know like moving cameras can, but like still photos,
yeah.
I don't know if you can.
That's interesting. Unexplained aerial phenomenon coming from the Colombian mountain that's near the location, and they have a resident Bigfoot.
Oh. I didn't know if they had a name for him.
I don't believe so.
But they have that Wonder Shack.
Yeah, the Wonder Shack.
Something like that. Mystery Shack.
Yeah, I think you're pretty close with that. I'm looking down my notes. They do have guided tours during like the summer months. There are several gravitational and visual effects. Gravitational being that Mystery Shack.
Yeah. Because that's the one where it's like crooked.
It's built on an 18-degree angle, which is a 412 pitch.
Yeah, but you can't like stand.
Oh, it's called the House of Mystery.
Oh, okay.
It's built on an 18-degree angle, which is like a 412 pitch on a roof, which I've been on my roof. I've been on my mom's roof, which is probably pretty close to a 4, somewhere between a 3 and a 6. My roof's every bit like an 8 to a 10.
Yeah.
And I've been on that roof, and it's like scary. But like a 4 is nothing. And yeah, they
well, it's like they're like how the gravitational force holds you.
Mm-hmm.
You like have to stand at a slant.
Yeah, there's so everybody comes into this house and it's they're standing at an angle but easily.
Yeah.
And then they do have one spot that's sectioned off and it's at a level spot, and so when people go to stand on it and you end up leaning forward and generally looking down to your toes. But if you try to stand at a straight up and down, you can kind of, once you get there
to like 90 degrees.
Yeah, once you get to like a 90 degrees standing, it like pushes you backwards.
Yeah.
Almost like if you were like on a hill and you were about to fall backwards.
Yeah, but you're on a level spot.
Yeah. And they also have a level spot just outside of this building that the video I'd seen 2 videos, but the one that's a little bit more memorable to me is like the guide is standing in the center of the level spot.
Yeah, and he actually had a level that he put on it to show, hey, look, it's level.
And then they got out a marble and put it on there.
Yeah, and it didn't roll around.
Yeah, but he has a gal come stand to his right, and they're damn near eye to eye.
Yeah.
And then she walks around and stands on his left, and she's like 3 to 4 inches shorter.
Yeah, he's like looking down at her.
Yeah. And like if he's just standing there and there's that much 4 inches, even 3, and you put a marble on it, it's going to roll away.
Yeah. Well, see, that one I don't know, because it reminds me of like a crybaby bridge.
Oh, okay.
Where if you look at the bridge and it's flat, but you put your car on it and it rolls. Mm-hmm. But yet the marble didn't roll. So
right, Dave. The marble didn't roll.
Yeah, she just got smaller, so she wasn't necessarily walking downhill.
Right.
Unless it's some kind of...
It could easily be that one could easily be an optical illusion.
Yeah, but that's also the place where they would stand and they would get that cloaking and the distortion in the pictures. Mm-hmm. So he was saying that he feels like there's like a vortex or a field there.
And there's also like a bunch of orbs all over the place there.
Yeah, they were taking pictures. That one was kind of odd because the camera guys that were filming, the documentary crew, didn't get any orbs, but then the owner and his wife kept getting orbs.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And none of the other documentary crew were taking actual pictures. They were just relying on the video.
The camera, yeah.
And they were talking I think eventually I had written down, but talking about some things of the paranormal. I almost said paranatural. Shout out to the paranatural guys. I get paranaturals.
Giving away secrets.
I'll cut that. But the idea of some paranormal things being in the infrared spectrum.
Yeah.
And now I can't speak too much about the infrared spectrum, but if you ever look at and they may be different now, but your TV remotes will have like an ultraviolet light on it.
Yeah. And
you can't see it when you're hitting buttons.
I thought it was IR. I thought it was infrared.
It could be.
But yeah, if you point at your face and push the button, you can't see the light blinking.
Yeah. But if you take your cell phone up to it and watch it through your cell phone can pick that up.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just a little neat experiment you can do at home while you're listening to the pod.
Yeah.
Don't do it while you're driving.
No. Well, I guess they're probably still IR, unless things are Bluetooth. Because I think like a controller for like a PlayStation, that's probably Bluetooth, right?
That's probably Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And some TV remotes now, I noticed they don't have the diode or the there's usually a cover over the diode. I noticed they don't have that as predominantly anymore as when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Big tube TVs and stuff.
Right. Yeah, but that kind of leads into
no.
What?
I want to keep going a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I found the thing that talks about it.
Talks about what?
The Bigfoot they describe as interdimensional.
Yes.
And that this idea, did we say the whole idea?
No.
I said Bigfoot, but
yeah, we were talking Bigfoot.
But we were kind of looking towards a Bigfoot meets aliens type perspective.
Yes. Or is Bigfoot an alien?
Or is he slave to the aliens?
Yes. Or
he wants us to free him.
Hybrid.
Oh, alien-human hybrid.
Yes.
He gets the hair from the humans.
Right.
I almost went a little racist on that, but I didn't. I caught myself.
All right.
But they do have a Bigfoot, and they describe him as being interdimensional and invisible at times. And he likes to hang out in that house of mystery.
Yeah, because that guy was talking about you'll be like at the door and hear like doosh, doosh, doosh.
Yeah, like a 800-pound guy walking through.
Yeah, but you can't see him.
And I did find it interesting. They were talking about him maybe being able to shapeshift, and that little glint that goes across the camera, that little bug-looking thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, it could have been a bug, but it was a weird-looking bug when they zoomed in on it.
Yeah. Well, there's things called poles, I think they call them. They're called poles. But there's a video of a guy filming down into a cave in Argentina or something that they're about to like base jump into.
Okay.
And he's
scary.
got pictures of all these like flying like poles that like go across the screen, and they're long and like tight. They like have like multiple wings.
Okay.
And like at
the
time,
bug is called a pole.
something like that.
Okay.
Or like a rod.
Oh, okay.
Well, because they think it's
stick bug.
Yeah, but they think it's like an interdimensional kind of thing, or
they think it too.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were like explaining a normal looking bug.
No, they would say these are like not of this world.
Oh,
like maybe alien or like fairies or something.
Yeah.
But I saw a documentary.
Oh, here we go.
Where because of the speed of the camera and the bug flying so fast, it streaks. It looks elongated.
Okay.
Yeah, so they kind of ruined that one, but
Damn.
that's kind of what it reminded me of when they kept zooming in and like getting
Magic
closer
bugs
to
is
it.
gonna be on the list now.
Magic bugs. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I hit that one.
Hit that one.
Yeah.
Well, that
Hit
kind of
it.
brings
Tap
me
it.
to there's a guy called not that guy.
What's his name, Dave?
Okay, his name's John Keel.
Oh, fake name.
Oh. But he believes that there's places called window areas.
Okay.
So ley lines,
Yeah.
like this
Vortexes.
And he thinks that in these places where it's like a little thinner, there's more activity because Dogman and extraterrestrials and ghosts and Bigfoot are actually, he calls them ultra terrestrials, and that they move.
Tell me more.
They move through the different spectrums of light.
Okay.
So we can only see a narrow spectrum because we can't see infrared or ultraviolet.
Stupid human beings.
Yeah, and our rods and cones, speaking of which, only
Poles and rods.
poles and rods can only convert that light, those light waves.
Yeah.
So if these other creatures reflect the other light and not our light, then we can't see them.
Damn.
And so he also thinks that they can shift between these, because light is just vibrations. So if you can shift through these vibrations, then sometimes you see them, because there's stories of people like seeing Bigfoot walk behind a tree and then just disappear. Or some people say like they'll see him and then like rub their eyes or like stare at him and he just fades away.
Yeah. And why he also comes up blurry on pictures.
Oh, it could be.
You can't capture all of them rods and cones, baby.
Yeah. But he also says he thinks because of when they shift that they cause electromagnetic disruptions. That's why in cases of like aliens or even ghosts, like lights go on and off, your car dies, the batteries and the radios go.
What was that? Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yeah. But yeah, he thinks that they're native to the Earth. Like they've always been here. It's just we haven't seen them.
Ooh, they've always been here.
Yeah, and
They want their land back.
he also has a theory that once you start looking for them, you start seeing them more because your brain filters out stuff that you don't perceive.
Yeah.
So if you aren't looking for it, your brain's not, your subconscious isn't looking for it, so it's not going to filter it in.
Yeah.
It filters it out. But then once you start studying Bigfoot or looking for ghosts or UFOs, usually a lot of hunters or whatever you want to call them or contactees, they start experiencing more than normal people
Yeah.
because their brains are starting to now look for this.
Yeah.
Because there's a Dr. Stephen Greer, and he believes that with focused meditation, you can initiate contact, or like he calls it CE5 meditation, which is close encounter of the fifth kind.
Ooh.
Because the fifth kind
That's
is
one more.
Yeah, that's because 4
two more.
is you see them. 5, wait. Well, 5 is you interact with them, I think. So maybe 3 is you see them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just jumped to 5.
Oh, whoops.
Yep.
They missed one. Count Day Count would be upset.
Yeah.
That's a callback.
But I've heard about this too, and I know there's like people they say they document it, but obviously there's not tons of videos out there. But you'll go in your backyard and you meditate, and then there's a high probability that you might see something, or like an orb
Oh, yeah.
will come and check you out, see what's going on.
Hey, what's up over here? I'm an orb,
yeah,
baby.
what's up? And then talk to you
In your brain?
in your brain.
Nice.
Is it telekinesis?
That's telekinesis, Kyle.
Yeah, with brain bullets. So then that gets into the whole thing where it's like, okay, because a lot of people that see UFOs sometimes see Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm. I do have a story about that.
You got a story?
Yeah, I got a couple of stories, actually.
Okay.
Marion and her brother Chris, both last name Lane,
Yep.
planned a trip with like 20 people. It sounded like to me they were all together, the 20 people. Camping in Shasta National Forest in California.
Mount Shasta, that should be put it on the list.
Mount Shasta? Okay.
Yeah.
Remind me, because I'll forget.
Okay. Well, when you edit this, write it down.
Am I going to edit it, Dave? I leave for Torquefest tomorrow and come back on Sunday.
Okay, so this is the raw version.
Yeah, it might be. It might be.
Welcome to Blue Ribbon Lounge Raw.
Raw. But at Shasta National Forest, California, they were hiking up to Dead Falls Lake, and that evening around the campfire at around 2 a.m., they saw a blue light appear in the sky.
Wait, this was in the 80s? 84?
1984.
All right. Well, I know in the story they brought a guitar and some beers, so I'm like...
maybe a little something they didn't want to tell on air.
Yeah, to just have sing-alongs, and maybe they were just singing like Kumbaya and stuff.
Maybe.
Or like Michael rowed the boat ashore.
Yeah, getting a little closer to God.
Yeah. Well,
anyways.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, that's why they were up until 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
I was just, setting the stage.
Okay. So they saw it. They estimated it to be like thousands of feet above one of the northern peaks of the mountain range. And the light started to grow in intensity, eventually coming all the way over the mountain. And even miles away, they claimed they could make out a large disc emitting a light. As it started descending down the mountain, it started shining lights into the forest like it was looking for something.
Like big searchlights?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to find a criminal.
Oh, like an escapee.
Yeah.
Oh.
Slave Sasquatch.
Spoilers.
It it started to descend on the mountain. It started moving closer to their camp, and some of the campers put out the fire so that the object wouldn't see it. Which is like really smart. I don't know if I would have thought to do something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if this thing has got like 2 or 3 or 4 spotlights, looking around in the woods, and it's getting closer to you, yeah,
smother that fire.
Yeah, get rid of that. I would also hide.
Yeah, just like behind a tree.
Yeah, get under foliage.
It was getting closer, and they could see that the object was shining a bright white and yellow. The object was shining bright white and yellow with a blue light coming from the bottom of the craft. And several of the campers left, and it got as close to across the lake from them.
Yeah, because when it was coming like almost like a beeline to them, but not quite. It's not like it's zooming in on them. But yeah, half the people were like, let's hike out of here. And the other half are like, well, we're kind of drunk and it's dark.
She estimated, as far away as she was from it, she estimated it to be between 200 and 400 feet across. And the blue light shining down from a distance, the campers believed that there was a speck lifted up from the ground halfway up to the ship. So the ship was, however far off the ground, lifted something off the ground, and then several smaller specks came from the ship and met
the
bigger speck that was lifted up.
That's a lot of tractor beam action going on.
Yeah, they had that thing on full throttle.
Yeah.
Eventually, the ship made its way closer, coming across the lake. The specks that had dropped down from the ship went back up. The ship started moving again, going across the lake, and they claimed that the light beam itself was disturbing the water.
Yeah. Well, if you remember the cattle mutilation episode, they described it more like not like a beam of light that sucks the cattle up, but like a vortex.
Oh yeah.
So like a tornado.
Yeah.
So I could see how it coming over the water would like start churning the water up, making it all choppy,
chopped up. Eventually, the ship made its way closer to the campers on their side of the lake, and the first speck that had been picked up was still in the beam. And they claimed that they saw the object within the light was a gigantic hairy creature, not a bear, but a Bigfoot, as they had come to know from pop culture.
Oh, yes. After the last 20 years.
Yeah, of watching Sasquatches, Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah.
What year was this again?
Or Boggy Creek.
84. When would a Harry and the Hendersons come out? It would have been 80s, right?
Yeah.
I could do some producing, but I'm not going to.
It was in the 80s. I'll say it's in the 80s.
And we'll say it came out 83. Probably came out after this, but as it passed the campers, the flying object flashed with a bright light and vanished. And they claimed it did not fly away. It just disappeared.
Yes.
Into infrared spectrum, light spectrum.
Yeah. Or another dimension.
Another dimension, another dimension, another dimension.
A new galaxy. Galactic, planetary.
Yeah.
Because I've also heard like it's another dimension, but then a lot of times that like these experts talk about it,
quote unquote.
They say that they like these creatures can manifest as UFOs with aliens in it. So I don't know what that means. Like in their world, they're not, but when they come over to ours, they're aliens in a ship.
Yeah, they come from some sort of non-tangible dimension where they have no physical existence.
Yeah. Well, I've also heard that it's part of a group think, or like not like hive mind, but if all intelligence is connected in the universe, that maybe in these what do you call it, window areas, or like in these like hot spots, maybe you're more perceptive to not necessarily like hallucinating, but like vivid, what's it called, not vivid dreams, lucid like dreams, a lucid dream or a waking dream, where you're like seeing either into the future or into our past.
What if there was like a natural gas leak near where they're camping, and they were huffing fumes for like 10 hours ahead of time?
So like a shared hallucination?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they were a cult.
Oh!
And maybe they drank some Kool-Aid, and the leader guy's like, now picture a white ball coming over the mountain. And everyone's like, we see it.
That would be wild. Yeah. Why is that more plausible than aliens?
Well, I heard one that maybe it's a construct of our psyche, where... Okay, because one theory is that aliens are time travelers from our future, and that's what people evolved to be, and that maybe all the weird butt probes is because we don't have sex anymore. We just either clone, but once you make a copy of a copy of a copy, it kind of deteriorates.
They're running out of...
So they have to go back in time to now and get DNA to take into the future. Or it's what we evolve into, and we're just seeing it like a whisper, kind of like how people think that ghosts are just energy trapped in an area because of some kind of strong emotions or they say like emotions and like stuff get trapped in walls and shit. Like burn into it like a record. So then, but you're projecting into the future, and you're seeing us in the future with flying cars and no hair and big brains and no sex organs. And then on the other side, you're seeing into the past, where we're the missing link.
Oh my God, you're blowing my brains out here, Dave.
Yeah, what are they? Athropithecus gigantor.
Gigantopithecus, something like that.
Yeah, where it's the great ape.
Oh, that makes too much sense, Dave.
Yeah, and then I don't know, ghosts are just ghosts, kind of the same,
Ghosts.
but like less from the past.
I think it's like interdimensional.
They could be interdimensional because
and the places where it's just like thin, and so you kind of like you don't get the whole being from the other dimension. You just get kind of a ghost of them, a shadow, if you will.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I've also had it explained that some like this how it might be different light spectrums, but it could be like a ceiling fan. Mm-hmm. Where you can see the blades of it, but once it starts going super fast, it just kind of disappears.
Damn.
But you can kind of still see it.
Yeah, but when you like focus on it, you can kind of follow one blade around.
You can kind of pull it out.
Yeah.
So that goes back to when you start focusing on looking for paranormal things, you start seeing paranormal things.
Damn. Interesting.
Yeah. We got a deep one. Or if you look into the book of Enoch, which...
What the fuck is that?
It's like a fanfic for the Bible. Well, supposedly it was a book of the Bible that they cut out because it talks about angels and astronomy and stuff.
Is that? I feel like I've been seeing all over the internet like images of the angels as described by the Bible. Is that where that's from?
Yeah, but it's like I think it was like in 20 BC or 8 AC after Christ, but in current time, whatever it's called now, BCE or whatever. A guy wrote a book for the Bible that had a bunch of astronomy and astrology in it, and he was kind of like trying to put it in there, like get his like
trying to shoehorn it into the Bible.
Yeah, and so it might have got in there for a little bit, but then when because I think it kind of just started to get bloated, and then a bunch of like whatever bishops and stuff were like, we got to kind of pare this down. Let's get rid of some of this weird stuff. But in the book of Enoch, it said that the angels thought that earth women or women from earth were super beautiful and they couldn't contain themselves, so that they had relations with them.
Ooh.
And from them were born giants.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like Goliath. Mm-hmm. But these giants could have been covered in hair.
They could have been.
Could have turn into and like from there become
Sasquatch.
Or
another one, Dave?
I got all of them. Do you got something? I don't want to just jump in here and talk all this stuff.
Yeah, let me do another story.
Okay.
1999, Sue Von Clapp and her brother Steve and three friends were spending a vacation in a cabin in Missoula, Montana. It was one of their friends' cabins who was on the trip. The group at the end of one night all saw a triangular, almost arrowhead-shaped object above some hills in the distance. The craft had 3 red lights flashing at each corner of it, and it was slowly rotating towards the onlookers at the cabin. Believing that the craft was too far away to see them and to get a better look, one of the friends, Jason, turned the cabin lights off. So, you don't have that background light that kind of washes everything out.
Or like the porch light or whatever.
Yeah. And as Jason turned the lights off, so did the ship. Turned its lights off.
Yeah.
And so he turned the lights back on, and so did the ship. And they went back and forth a little bit.
Played around with it?
Yeah, like something out of a movie.
That's
out of a Three Stooges type thing.
I don't know. If once it turned it off, and then they turned it off, then you're like, okay, well, let's see what happens if I turn it back on. They turn it on. I probably would not keep playing with them.
Yeah.
Because then it'd be like,
you're drawing attention to yourself.
That's like trying to signal UFOs with a lighter in the beach. Like, do you really want a UFO to come over here?
And then, without warning, the craft sped forward towards the cabin and stopped so quickly that the nose pointed down right at them. So, it went so fast and stopped that, the inertia of the ship pointed the nose down kind of directly at them.
Yeah, like a fast car. Because if you brake, you'll dip. Yeah.
The group ran inside, turned off the lights, and closed all the windows. Sue and another girl went outside to grab some things from where they were sitting, and they noticed that the object was gone, as well as all the drinks they left outside in their rush to go inside, like coffee and cream and sugar. As they started winding down for the night, one of the guys went into the kitchen and yelled, "Oh my God!" And he claimed he saw a creature outside of the window. The friends looked outside the window and saw nothing. Years later, he said he thought it was a Sasquatch, but was afraid to say so at the time.
Yeah, because it sounded like a kook.
Later, I mean, I think in that situation, you say, "I saw something that looked like a Sasquatch."
Yeah.
If you say it looked like a Sasquatch, you can be like, "Oh well."
Yeah.
It just kind of, that general shape.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what it could have been a bear.
Yeah, it could have been an insane homeless guy who hadn't showered and shaved for a couple of weeks.
Right.
Later that night, the friends were upstairs in the cabin, and they claimed to have heard distinct, not heavy, but definitely bipedal steps running back and forth on the roof.
Oh, like Hopkinsville.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even put that together.
Jeez, yeah. I think they have shotguns.
They said it was like there were 6 to 8 kids running around on the roof. The group ended up sleeping downstairs and brushing off what happened last night. And in the morning, Sue and Brent were sitting on the porch. Brent said he saw something in the tree line, Sue not having seen it. So Brent went and got a mirror, and as the two turned their backs to what he saw, looking through the mirror, they said a small gray alien like you would see in the movies.
Yeah.
The movies give us like plenty of ammo to like make not connections. Yeah, comparisons. Yeah, descriptions. But through the mirror with their backs to it, they saw a small gray alien.
That's creepy.
And then supposedly that the alien noticed it was being seen and went back behind a tree. A short time later, 2 other friends who had gone fishing down by the river come running back. They said that as they were walking to the river, they felt like something in the woods was matching their footsteps. So like kind of walking right by them, but unseen in the brush.
And also like when you step, they step kind of thing. Yeah.
And after they caught some, they let it go. After seeing aliens the night before, you let that go too?
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, that's when you start feeling uneasy.
Yeah.
But I mean... you still gonna go fishing? I mean,
yeah. But they did end up going fishing and apparently caught a bunch of fish, and they had it in a basket behind them. When they turned around, when they were done, the whole basket was gone. The fish were gone out of the basket.
Yeah,
the basket was still there. So one of two things: either they didn't catch any fish, or something took it.
Yeah, a bear.
Yeah, they believed it
or something.
They believed it was a bear.
Okay.
Also,
they just didn't notice a bear.
They didn't notice a bear run from a bear.
Yeah.
Well, or
depends on what kind.
Yeah. Well, they have a color thing, huh?
Yeah.
If it's brown, lay down.
Right. If it's black, fight back.
Yeah. If it's white, you're dead.
Yeah, polar bear.
Yeah.
Like Roadhouse. A bear fell on me.
But so they thought a bear stole their fish, so they were headed back to the cabin. When they were walking, they saw in the woods a big hairy bipedal creature. When the creature realized it had been seen, it started heading for the two. The two guys end up running to the cabin, describing the creature as dark brown in color, bushy hair on its body, and 7 foot tall. That trip was over. They ended up going back to the cabin in 2003 and had no further incidents.
Yeah. Well, that's just crazy because once you see a UFO and then someone thinks they see something out of the window, and then you hear footsteps on the roof, the next morning, I'm just going to go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we're not going to be like, well, we're here for the weekend, so might as well stay. Like, no, it's all right. We can leave.
We can leave. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I have one about like remote viewing.
Okay.
There's a guy, Ron Rummel, who was ex-military, an Air Force intelligence agent, and he wrote a book called like the Alien Diaries or something, or Digest. And in one of them, he has stories in it, and one's the Alien Agenda Part 2. And he was just happened to be in a room where, or observing a session that was going on where they hypnotized a guy, and they were doing astral projection. Mm-hmm. And the guy was sent to West Africa, and
astrally,
okay. Yeah, kind of like in our astral projection one where the guy goes to Mars astrally. Yeah. So then he's describing what he's seeing, and there's two big hairy creatures that come out of a cave carrying big canisters.
Okay.
And they set him down near a tree. There's only one tree because it's like Africa. It's kind of barren. And he watches a UFO land, and gray aliens get out, and they kind of talk with these Bigfoot, and the Bigfoot opens the containers, and it's filled with like goo, but like bone, like human goo. Ooh. Is how he described it. Ooh. Yeah, like liquid humans. And that when they opened it, the aliens kind of turned away and were like, ugh. And they like they secured it back on, and then the Bigfoot loaded these canisters onto the spaceship, and then took off. And that was one of his stories. And so like Bigfoot is maybe, because one of the other explanations is that either aliens came down and used our DNA and like the gigantic Pithecus DNA to create Bigfoot, mm-hmm. to be their kind of like muscle on the ground, or they were like
the bouncer.
Yeah, or like because they're like little gray aliens, and mm-hmm. we're humans back then with clubs and spears and bows and arrows, and maybe they don't have zapping rays, like in the movies, so then they need some kind of bodyguards to protect them. Or Bigfoot could be like a scout that they sent out because they're like, what kind of planet is this? A lot of jungle, a lot of forests, rivers, mountains. So what would be the best thing to send out there to scout it out?
They genetically engineered like a specific scout creature to...
Yeah, that could roam the planet.
Kind of like a Superman situation where they shot him from their planet to ours.
Maybe, yeah. And, well, because there's so many different things, because there's also this lady who has a PhD.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I have this written down. It's like, can PhDs be as kooky as everyone else? But her name was Dr. Maldek, and her theory is that between Mars and Jupiter... Or wait, that's not her name. Anyway, this doctor lady, she claims that the planet was called Maldek because obviously she's been in communication telepathically with Big Feet.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Of course.
And,
like you do.
Yeah, or maybe through hypnosis, she pulled this out of her subconscious.
Pulled it out of her, it's in all of our DNAs.
Yeah.
She accessed it.
Yeah, her lizard brain. But, so the planet name was Maldek, and it was between Mars and Jupiter, which is now an asteroid belt. So the planet exploded.
I wonder if they could measure like the amount of asteroids and the mass of each one to be like, yeah, it's about planet size.
Yeah, if you smush it all together.
Yeah, I wonder if they could do that.
But that was where Bigfoot was from originally, and it got destroyed because they used to have human-like creatures, maybe like greys.
Oh.
Some kind of humanoid, and that they were able to escape to Earth. And the reason they hide from humans so much is because of the humanoid creatures on their planet. They were evil and destroyed it, so they don't want to interact with us. And it kind of goes along with this other theory where they're aliens that want our Earth, but they're just hiding and waiting for us to fuck it up, and then they're just going to come and be like, aha, you guys suck.
Well, I guess we'll have to fuck it up, see if that happens.
Yeah, see if Bigfoot comes out.
I had one more thing written down here.
Yeah.
And it is the Eugene in Eugene, Oregon. It's called the Owl Moon Lab.
Oh, yeah.
And it's this guy Daryl and his wife Cindy own the land.
Did you watch a documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I have to say about that is some people can cut off genes, and some people probably shouldn't. They shouldn't try.
So they own this land, and they have a friend Toby that lives on the land with them, on the property with them in a camper.
Yeah, he's the gene
yeah,
guy.
Yeah. And they built this shed on top of what they believe to be some sort of energy point.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about these vortexes or ley lines. And so by, putting cement and wood and metal on top of this energy area, it's like putting the cap on a fizzy soda. And so they'll have lots of bursts of experiences. What do you call those? I had said it earlier.
Bursts
bursts of
energy.
They had a lot of these bursts of supernatural occurrences.
Yes.
Hopefully this isn't too raw, so I could cut that out. And they have dedicated this whole shed now to Bigfoot and things of that nature. The types of experience they've had, one of gift giving.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. Oh,
no, that's just kind of one of the experiences they have. Is gift giving. No, it just kind of reminds it's for some reason certain animals will do that. Crows.
I'm really into crow videos on TikTok.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. But if you feed them, they'll bring you stuff. Every once in a while, they'll bring you a little gift.
Mm-hmm. They've left and I'm not going to go into all the thing, but they left a rifle casing, a bag of blackberries.
Yeah,
that's kind of a crazy one.
Well, he was saying they would put out thoughts and be like, "Oh, well, could you bring us some gold?" And then they brought him a rifle casing, which is brass, but kind of looks like gold.
Yellow.
Yeah.
But a bag of blackberries? Blackberries in a bag? That's crazy.
Yeah, they stole it from the supermarket.
Yeah, interdimensional bag. They got a sandwich bag from their kitchen and filled it with some blackberries.
Yeah, hung it on a tree.
And then also a small glass heart trinket. They also have a rock setup, which I thought was kind of neat, where they have little small knickknacks and lettered blocks, and they use it to spell things out. And at one point, Toby had spelled out "Thank you for gifts," and the next day they came back and was spelled out was W3L4OME, and they believe that the 3 was used instead of an E, and the 4 was used instead of a C to spell welcome, because they ran out of letters.
Yeah, well, that could be a crow too. Because some birds are smart enough they can spell or can
spell.
I mean, if horses can do math, I'm sure birds can spell.
And behind the property, they've seen a bunch of UAPs, large, quickly flashing and pulsing flashlights, the prior owners of the property, this one I thought was weird. The prior owners of the property moved, and this Daryl and Cindy moved in, and the prior owner's son ended up killing himself.
Oh.
On the day of his memorial at the Owl Moon Lab, they picked up an audio EVP of something saying, "I'm dead," as well as 2 4-fingered handprints, small and gnarled fingers on the boy's previous bedroom door.
Yeah.
And now it didn't show the bedroom door, and it didn't play the audio of the "I'm dead."
No, but it did show like a picture of it.
Yeah, like scanned copies of something, or
or if it was like
copy of a photo.
That's why I was wondering if it was one of those, like, not infrared, but if you do like a negative, like a reverse kind of picture, maybe then it showed up.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that one was kind of cool, but they were just like hanging out in a shed, like a newly built shed.
Yeah, they were sitting outside of the shed and put a microphone in the shed. And I was expecting to hear a bunch of like quote unquote Sasquatch like whoosh and ha's.
Yeah, because
it was just like knocks and rattles and shit.
Yeah, so I'm like,
it's just like a pole barn type shed.
Right.
I don't know.
It's just settling, or
we decide what we
someone else outside
here.
Knocking on it.
Yeah.
You have the neighbor kid come over. Okay, we're gonna have the bonfire on the east side. You go on the west side and knock on the door once we send these guys in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people that hunt Bigfoot, a lot of them were saying orange orbs. They see a lot of orange orbs.
Mm-hmm.
And so that goes to the shape-shifting thing where they think sometimes maybe Bigfoots turn into orbs to travel. Because people have said that they'll see Bigfoot and then there'll be like a flash and then the Bigfoot will be gone. And one of the guys from the Discovery Channel's Search for Sasquatch or whatever that show was, he started to believe that maybe Sasquatch was an alien instead of like just an animal, because you never find the bodies, you never find carcasses, and that one time he saw an orb, but it sounded like a creature going through the underbrush, but it was just an orb that he was looking at. But to me, once I started hearing that, I was thinking, well, maybe these guys who spent their whole life looking for Bigfoot, and then people are like, well, what's your proof? What do you have to show for it? You know, how's that going for you? And they're like, oh, well, the reason we haven't found it is because he's an alien. They go up and they go through portals and they disappear. That's why we don't have their bodies. That's why we can never find their layers. It's because they're interdimensional. I feel like they just moved the goalpost on us.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But you'll have that, man.
Yeah, but the one, like I said, with the spectrums and the light and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. But just to have like a guy, like a redneck guy in camo being like, no, they're interdimensional, that's why we can't find them. And if you look at their footprints, sometimes they got 3 toes and sometimes they got 4, because they can't always manifest all their toes when they come through the portal.
It's all how the information is delivered.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah. Because there's also a thing called the Unified Paranormal Field Theory. And this, I didn't read it, but there's this PDF you can download that's like cited and like professionally written, trying to describe how you can, you know, like ghosts and cryptids and UFOs and all these things, Mothmen and fairies, and how like we've had it through all of time. How in the beginning it was like a succubus, and now it's aliens.
Yeah,
you know, like when you have your night paralysis or whatever, it kind of changes what it is because of what kind of popular culture is putting out there for you to consume. So, because back in the day, maybe it wasn't Bigfoot, but maybe it was a werewolf.
Yeah, or even like, there's gods in the sky, and Thor hits his hammer on an anvil, and that's what creates lightning.
Yeah.
And then some things you learn are just lightning, and other things you still can't explain, but you have maybe a more data to go off of, and that gives you just a better, different concept of it.
Yeah. Or it's also if it's the combined psyche at the time, yeah. If you're reading books by like Hans Christian Andersen talking about fairies and witches, as opposed to like when the big UFO flaps happened, like in the 60s and 70s, when everybody was all like aliens from outer space and War of the Worlds and it came from the Black Lagoon and all that kind of like popcorn movie drive-in theater stuff, then you start thinking more aliens and outer space, especially right after the nuclear bomb, and everybody's going to be a nuclear family, and space age was right upon us, and we're trying to get, everybody's looking at the stars. Then these weird phenomenons start becoming aliens and not witches flying across the moon.
Yeah. Who knows? Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Or the government someday.
Yeah, when they want to distract us from something else.
Yeah. Well, I'm good, Dave.
Yeah, I'm good.
Well, I hope you folks are good. We had a good time here. I need to do something a little bit more tangible next time.
Tangible?
Maybe the next couple of times. But we got our 3-year episode coming up next week.
Yeah, we got something kind of special.
Yeah, kind of special. Special for us.
Yeah.
And eat pizza, have fun, and for gosh sakes, be good to yourselves.
Yeah, and remember, you better ask somebody. Ready when you are.